Hello, hello, hello. It's Thursday. Just wanted to come on for a quick moment with a quick message. It seems like this week has just flown by. I guess because the holiday was on Tuesday, so it just kind of made the week fly. But I wanted to come on for a quick moment because I've been seeing a lot of posts in regards to grandmothers, grandparents in general. And so one post in particular said, having involved grandparents is a luxury. And I 100% agree. And I say that because anytime you have a community and a support system that is lending you a helping hand with your kids, it alleviates stress. It gives you more time to, yourself, and also you can allocate more time to your career without feeling the burden of, oh my gosh, where are my kids going to go? Hopefully not with a stranger. So that is the blessing in having grandparents. But the interesting thing is that today's grandparents are not yesterday's grandparents. And what I mean by that is basically all grandparents are not the same. And growing up, my grandmother did not work as she got older. So since she was not working, then she was able to lend a helping hand and to watch us when my mom was at work. Many times she's the one that took me to daycare and dropped me off. And then she's the one that picked me up from daycare because my mom was at work. And many parents nowadays don't have that luxury. I even thought about my friend. Her mom would come get her kids from school on Friday and then return them back to her on Sunday. So that would give her and her husband their me time. They would be able to, have their date nights, go away for the weekend, and get whatever they need to do, out the way while their kids were gone with her parents. But today and age, I see a lot of the grandparents making different videos about, I've raised my kids. I'm done. I don't want the responsibility of your children. I will not have them every day. I will not be in the house bound to your children. I've done my part. I've raised you. And they're correct. I mean, they have raised us, and so they don't technically owe us anything as far as being a grandparent. Being present and helping is a gift, not something that's required. So I even saw a young woman the other day that had posted where her mom was requiring her to pay, I think, $20 per hour to keep her grandchild because she's retired, and she thought she should be compensated for keeping the grandchild. So I thought that was very interesting because most time people take the child to the grandparent as a cost save because of the rising cost for daycare, because daycare is really expensive. And that grandparent wanted payment. So the mom was very upset, and she was threatening to not let her see the grandchild, which is a little too much. You know, I think to resolve it, just give her the money or put your child in daycare. But anyway, this topic came up as well because I had a neighbor, and she had also put all of her eggs in one basket. She returned to work after having her child. Her mom had told her she would keep the child. And 2 weeks in, her mom changed her mind. She no longer wanted to be a full-time provider of care. She was missing her friends, hanging out with her friends, going to the bingo hall or whatever people do when they're retired. So my neighbor was really in a frantic. And so some of the college students that are out, they have a little page. And so they've been keeping her child for her. So that's what I was going to come on to say, basically. Is although it is a luxury to have our parents step in and save the day and keep our kids for us, sometimes we're going to have to look at other places because our parents are still our parents. Some of them are still working. Some of them are just now living their best lives, and they're traveling and they're enjoying their retirement. Some just are not up to the task. They're older, they're tired, they just can't do it, you know? And in those cases, we have to just give them grace. They've raised us, and now we have to budget for care. And that's going to mean looking outside of the grandparents and looking at your surrounding community. And what I mean by that is, as a person that I moved away from my parents, I don't stay in the same town. I haven't since I was 18. I moved immediately at 18. But I always knew, as far as childcare, like I've always had daycare, babysitters, people from the church or college students that I know that keep kids, neighbors, even friends from friend groups. We would get together and may go out and, you know, have a play date where it's supposed to be a play date, but it ends up being like a mommy date. And we just, you know, get out and have a good time. But sometimes you have to lean on other people outside of that and just allocate the cost. Because we can't make our parents do anything they don't want to do. And quite honestly, you should not want your child being cared for by someone that doesn't really want to do it, okay? So think about that. Think of other ways you can possibly have your child watched. And I even think about my son. I remember my son's great aunt. She was crazy about him. I mean, she would call me, text me, like, when you bring me the baby? When you bring me the baby? When are you gonna? And like, it was the most wonderful feeling. Like, oh my gosh, I can go to the NBA game in Atlanta because Auntie's gonna have the baby this weekend. Or I can go hang out with my friends in Louisiana because Auntie's got the baby this weekend. And you really have to be just thankful for people like that. So outside of your grandparents, maybe your siblings can help with watching the babies. Maybe your aunties or your great aunts. You just never know. Because some people, like one of my girlfriends, she just has like the knack for that. For whatever reason, that is just her thing. Like, she loves the kids. She's all about the kids. And my son just loves her. But even outside of that, I can remember my grandmother, when I was younger, she was kind of like a neighborhood babysitter. People would send their kids over to be watched for a little while, and then they would go back home, you know? So I know this day and age, people don't always know their neighbors, but that would really help relieve some of the pressure off of you if you're able to utilize the community you're within to help watch your children. Now, it may come with a cost, but at least you're not putting all of that on a grandparent that is aging and that just may not have the ability to really watch the child all the time. And then that takes the limit off of you. Because I can remember when my son was super small and his grandmother watched him during the day, I would feel bad about asking her to watch him on the weekends. So a lot of times on the weekends, I wouldn't want to go anywhere. Versus when I got him into a daycare, I would pay for somebody to watch him during the week. And then on the weekends, she didn't mind watching him because it would only be for like, 4 or 5 hours or a few hours while I went to go get dinner and then come back later on. It was, and it wasn't every weekend. So I hope this video helps someone. I hope this is a blessing to you. I think, yes, having involved grandparents is a luxury, but having an involved family, period, is a luxury. I know I have some neighbors where they work different shifts. So the wife works a day shift and the husband works a night shift. And so that also helps them be able to combat the cost. I know everybody doesn't want to do an overnight shift, but it seems to be working out well for them right now because they don't have people here to help. And we have to remember also, I was thinking about this the other day, sometimes when some of these gurus are giving us this different advice about different things, especially when it comes to career things, some of those people have family, that live there in their homes, in their neighborhoods. They never left the place they're from. But for those people that relocate, or those people that, just have aging parents, it's just not always possible. Anyway, I hope you have a great remainder of your day. I hope this found you well. If you are looking for something to read this weekend, check out my free self-care Path to Inner Peace ebook. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Stay in peace, stay positive, and stay empowered. Take care. Bye-bye.